Hey, it's Jazz at Red Panda Reads. So I'm currently in the process of moving house. So most of my creative energy is currently going into building flat pack furniture. Woo! Because it's the first house we're renting that it doesn't have furniture. So that's exciting slash stressful slash exciting slash exhausting. So on my Instagram, I asked everyone would they rather see a book unhaul or my favourite board games that I would recommend for 2 players. And as you may have already guessed, this is not going to be a book video, this is going to be a board game video. So I am a massive fan of board games, and during the pandemic I haven't been able to play as many as I would usually like to because it is just me and my partner. However, I am very lucky to have my partner to play games with. So today I wanted to share with you some of my favourite 2-player games which are absolutely fabulous. And the first I'm going to talk about are all between the prices of £10 to £25, so more accessible than some of the mammoth games which we're looking at almost £100. So I've got my bit of cardboard because I couldn't find any paper with my notes on, and let's get going. So the first game that I think is one of my favourite finds of the, beginning of last year, but before everything happened, is Fungi. So this is a game specifically made for 2 people, and it basically involves foraging in the forest for different types of mushrooms and cooking with them using butter or cider to score points. And it has all the Latin for all the different mushrooms in it, but the key thing of this game is there is a long line of all the mushrooms in the forest, but you can only get so deep in the forest, so you have to tactically choose when to take which mushroom depending on where they will be within the forest because of your limitation for how far you can go. And it's just such a wonderful, tactical, fun 2-player game. You can get it for $9.99 at the moment. I will just add, board games fluctuate in price so much. Like if everyone sees this video and thinks, oh God, Fungi's amazing, and everyone buys it, next week this could be worth £100. Don't go and panic buy. That's just worst case scenario. And I've seen it happen with Betrayal of House of the Hill. Another game I'm going to show you later is at the moment only about £25. And when I got it, I think it was near 50. So just be aware that board games do fluctuate depending on availability. So yeah, absolutely fantastic, gorgeous little game. Let me just show you some of the pretty cards. So the next game I want to mention is also specifically made for 2 players, and it's the only other game which is made for 2 players that I'm going to recommend today, and that is Patchwork. So these are your little patchwork pieces, and you're trying to fill the board with patchwork pieces. And each patchwork piece has a cost, so the little button, so this is worth 7, and the amount you move. So in this case, you move 1, and you move around a board, and when you get to the end of the board, you finish. So you don't want to finish too quickly because then you won't get enough pieces to fill your board, but also you've got to take into account how much buttons you've got, and at certain points in the games you get buttons back, so then you can buy more. And it's just a really cleverly designed game, and it's also accessible for younger people, and whatever age you are, you'll enjoy it. And it's just a really fun, again, quite tactically intense game at times, but in a simple way, if that makes sense. There's lots you can think about if you want to think about it, but you don't have to think about it. And either way, it is a lot of fun. And I have never completed my board, and when I do, I am going to be so happy. But yeah, all the cute little patchwork pieces, and it's and little buttons. So it's a really fabulous game. And I think at the moment this will set you back about £15–20. Okay, so the next game is a game that I have been playing nearly every day for the last year and a half. Actually, I half lie. So I've been playing this game nearly every day for the last year until my birthday in January. And then my partner got me an identical game, but a different theme. And now we've been playing that every day. And that game is Hero Realms. So Hero Realms is a deck building game. This is for 2 to 4 players. You collect heroes and fighters who do different actions, and you do damage to the other player, and you're just basically slowly building up your hand that you have to make it stronger and more powerful so that you can defeat the other person. And the theme is all fantasy and I love it. And you can also get campaigns. So these campaigns is when you work together with the other players to destroy a boss character together. And we played one of these, but I recently got another one. And this game's, the reason I love this game is it's a deck building game which is so quick to set up. It takes about 30 seconds to set up. It's really compact, so you can take it anywhere with you. I mean, supermarket, just, get out the hero rounds, why not? When you're waiting in the line for the checkout on Mother's Day because there is a ridiculously long queue of people buying flowers. I am not talking about personal experience here. Anyway, it's just probably my favourite deck building game, and we now have Star Realms, which is specifically for 2 people, which is almost identical to Hero Realms, but is space themed. So if you prefer space, maybe go for Star Realms. If you prefer fantasy, go for Hero Realms. This will set you back about £20, and then the expansions are also about £20 each. So the next 2 games are chunky games, and they are a little bit more expensive. And the first of that is the Castle of Mad King Lidwig, which will currently set you back £40 to £80 depending where you buy it. And this again isn't made specifically for 2 players, but I think it works really well as a 2-player game. You're basically building 2D castles together out of little cards, and depending where you put your rooms in the castle determines how many points you get. And each turn, one of you gets to play the architect and determine how expensive each type of room is also, and get the money from people buying it. And it's a really aesthetically pleasing game to look at. Let me just get some of the pieces. So there's beautiful gardens, there's massive throne room, there's smaller little rooms as well. And it's just lovely, and completing different rooms. So all the rooms will have doorways. If you complete a room, you also get different awards for doing that. And it's a really fun game. My only negative to say would say the setup is quite time consuming because there's lots of little bits, but once you get the hang of it, you can do it relatively quickly. However, it's a really fun game, and I do just afterwards looking at my castle being like, why the heck is there a guest room next to a dungeon? Should I be concerned? And also that mould room should not be near the buttery. And the final game, which is over here, is Sagrada, which might be the most beautiful game I own. This, at the moment, you can get for about £25. When I brought it, it was definitely more expensive, but I am happy to say it has gone down in price. And it is a dice rolling game. You roll absolutely gorgeous coloured dice, and then you put the dice into your window to create a stained glass window using specific rules that are laid out by the specifications of your window. So throughout this game, you're thinking of patterns, you're thinking about where things can go and can't. You need to get certain numbers and certain colours of dice. You need to think what the other person is trying to get and whether you can try and sabotage what they want. And it's just, it's another just absolutely gorgeous game. Look at these stained glass windows. They are lovely. Again, it's not made for 2 players, but I think it works just fantastically with 2 players. And you've got all these gorgeous... No, that's not going to work. You've got all these gorgeous dice as well. And it's just a really, really fun game. And I love the I like working out patterns and what fits where, and it's just really nice. So those are all the board games I would recommend for 2 players. Well, at least my favourite board games. That was the box, not me. At least my favourite board games for 2 players. I have quite a few other board games. If any of these behind you interest you, or you're like, oh, I've heard about that, tell me more. Let me know in the comments below and I will let you know my thoughts. Anyway, next week I will do a book unhaul because I'm moving and I have to get rid of books. I don't have to, but I really should. And therefore I am going to disappear, build some more furniture, take all that cardboard to the recycling centre, and then see where the day takes me. Bye bye everyone.